Well, here it is. The show begins now. It's time for the real show. GiantBomb.com is here. We'll be here after hours for the next 3 nights. This is night 1 of day 4 of E3 2018. I'm Jeff Gerstmann. We're here doing the show we do, where we talk about what we got going on, what we saw at the show today. That's not even... Vinny Caravella is here. Oh, well, hello.
I'm way back here, dude.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm pretty sure that was him.
That was him.
Okay. Yeah. No, it wasn't fooling me.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. The gang is all here. We're here. Jan and Abby handling production. We got Alex and Jason and Dan and Ben and Brad and Vinny. I remembered everyone's name. This is fantastic. We're already off to a fantastic start.
This is only the 4th take.
Yeah. Well, you know. So we got some guests coming through tonight, but we are going to start talking about some of the stuff we saw today. Dan?
Yes.
We went from watching the Nintendo press briefing event.
Is it a direct, technically? Or is it a
Yeah,
press?
they called it a Nintendo Direct.
Okay, it's not even like a special name or anything.
Yeah.
Face.
I want to say this might have been the first time they referred to it as a Direct. I could be wrong.
Really?
But I think they usually would call it something else. Anyway, we went directly from that hot banger to Nintendo, where we went to their booth to see what they had to show.
They had a new Smash Brothers there.
There was a new Smash Brothers there.
Yeah, brand new one.
Yeah.
There's a ton of characters.
There are a lot of characters
Yeah, it's crazy.
in that video game.
Did you guys see the new face?
Mario? Mario's in it?
Who else?
Yeah.
Game & Watch?
Yeah.
Well, of
And then the
course.
Zeldas.
Yeah.
Beloved Zeldas.
Yeah.
Duck Hunt,
Yeah.
which is not the name of a character, but that's still
That should be.
what
Two
they decided
characters.
to call it.
Two characters.
Embarrassing.
It's their tag team name.
Is it Duck and Hunt?
No,
Yeah.
No.
Well, one's a duck. I mean, I guess the dog hunts, so maybe.
Maybe the dog's name is Duck Hunt and they just never said it.
That's a bunch of crap. I won't accept that. I will not accept
Nintendo's never
the dog's name.
Nintendo's never done a bunch of crap. That's
No, never.
Until this appointment. Apparently.
Well, yeah. So,
Yeah.
so
They purported like what 10,000 or so changes to this new Smash. How
Was
many
it
of those?
10,000 or was it tens of thousands?
Oh.
Tens of
I can't
thousands. Regardless, how many of those did he get to? out?
I swear, if you had put me in front of that in any circumstance and did not tell me like any context whatsoever, and I didn't see Ripley or Splatoon people,
Ridley.
what did I say?
Ripley.
You know why that's confusing?
Because they sound very similar.
they're
And
aliens and
Ridley Scott made Alien, and the character's name is Ripley, and there's a space thing called Ridley. I can't get any of those wrong. It might be Ripley Scott, Sigourney
No,
Weaver
you
might be
can get
Ridley.
those wrong because you just did.
Yeah.
I got it wrong.
You got it wrong before, yes.
It's been a long day.
It's very confusing.
Yeah.
It's okay, buddy.
So,
We've
if I
done a
didn't
lot
see
of
those
Smash.
things.
Yeah, Ridley was not in the build, I don't think, that we played.
They were, I saw it at a different kiosk.
Okay.
So I don't know if it was on the floor or something, but like, I would not have known that it was not just Smash 4.
yeah,
Like, it's pretty indiscernible. At least the demo we got, they had a couple of those new characters, but it was mostly old stages. And the way it plays and everything, like, it's fine, but it's definitely just Smash Brothers.
kind of seems like that game.
Yeah,
Which
and
that's what. Of course, like that's. I think a lot of people who don't stick with a game. I was going to say a fighting game, but Smash Brothers is not a fighting game. It's kind of
What do you
fighting
call it?
adjacent. It's
The
a
genre.
It's Smash Brothers.
fighting game.
Okay, all right.
So people that don't keep current with Street Fighter might go from 4 to 5 and go like, what the fuck is even different here? It's still the Ryu. He's the wizard with the fireballs.
Right.
And so, like, I get it. But also, like, I don't play a lot of Smash either, so I played it and went like, yep, they made another one of those. Anyway,
I think a lot of people still would have been happy if it was just like a port of the existing
Oh, totally,
one.
yeah.
Yes.
I mean, whatever.
And it
People
still would
like
have
that
sold
game.
well.
Like,
So I'm
yeah.
pretty surprised that they're going through and making a brand new game. Brand new.
Yeah.
Tens of thousands that change.
It's a sequel.
Anyway, I think so. Whatever. That game seems fine. I don't know.
Yeah.
To me, the more shocking thing was, he went to the appointment and they show us upstairs to the area, and like in past years there have been
Dan makes
like
a beeline for
whole
Mario Party.
lot of
I
games
asked.
up there.
I
That was
asked
the first
immediately.
question out of his mouth. Mario Party not there.
No. They couldn't get Mario Party. Yeah.
It's too big.
They had a kiosk. There were two different types of kiosks up there.
Yeah.
There was one that we were on that had 5 games on it. One was Mario Tennis Aces, which is out in a with and I have.
That's
Yes.
a game we were in possession of.
Yes.
Yeah.
There is Smash Brothers. There's Overcooked 2, which we played.
Which I had played a lot of. I'd played a chunk of that prior to the show.
Yeah, that should
But
be a
still
lot
a
of
new
fun.
announcement. I hadn't seen the Switch version before. Like, yes,
Totally.
that's
FIFA.
FIFA.
Dude,
19.
Which version of FIFA?
The 19th FIFA.
Yeah, and what was the 5th one?
Starlink. The
Starlink.
Ubisoft.
Without the
Without the
stuff.
ship stuff.
Which
Wait,
we
what?
saw at Ubisoft yesterday.
Yeah.
Ben and I saw that with all the stuff. So we didn't necessarily want to play the Switch version with no add-on stuff.
Right, and they had a separate kiosk that had the little Pokeball Plus hooked up to it for Pokemon Let's Go. That thing's a control nub. It feels like one of those bad laptop mice. Those little nubs.
Okay.
Like those little eraser
The
things.
eraser head thing?
Yeah,
Okay.
it feels like that, except it clicks in, and
On,
then
on a scale of that to like the fidget thing, the cube that I got you,
Fidget Cube is way better.
way better.
Way
Wow.
better.
Okay.
Jason did just say it was so cool, and I
Well,
think
no.
Abby would beg to differ.
no, not the
yeah.
game itself.
Playing
Just this the controller thing.
Oh, okay.
Control, and then it has like a cancel button like on the back of it too.
Oh,
So
damn,
you
I
kind
didn't
of
know
hold
there
it in your
were
hand,
two
and there's a 2-button thing.
All I'm saying is you can't imprison the soul of a Pokemon in a
And
fidget.
hold it up to your ear and listen to it and go,
Can't do
oh,
it.
You shake
makes
it
the
and you can hear
noise.
the Pokemon.
You can hear it
You want
cry.
out?
Yeah, yes, yeah. You heard it cry because you've trapped it. And then it seemed like a lot of the gameplay. Well, whatever. You fought trainers, but then also any Pokemon encounter in the field was like a Pokemon Go circle closing in thing, throw a Pokeball. So then it became like, are you aiming the ball and moving it
Like mini
properly?
bowling.
And that was a little bit harder to line up than it maybe should have been.
All right.
Even when it worked, it seems like it was probably not that much fun.
No.
I didn't play it. You and Abby, I watched
would
you and
not-
Abby.
I would not call it fun.
Did not look fun.
No. And that is the totality of their lineup.
They have
which is-
Killer Queen on the floor
Okay,
for
that's
the public.
somewhere.
Oh,
yeah.
no, sorry,
No,
it's
it's
the
at the
Indiecade
Indiecade
booth.
booth. So
Yeah.
Nintendo didn't even have Killer Queen.
Right.
And
They had a bunch of Fortnite on the consumer side area.
yeah,
If you want to go play
whole
Fortnite,
lot of Fortnite.
you can do that.
That game's out.
Yeah.
Just a really bizarre show for Nintendo. It just you sounded like you sounded very sad when we were leaving there.
It is the worst year of Nintendo's offerings I've ever seen in 13 years of coming to E3.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really something else. It was like, you think about the Switch as like, oh, the Switch is fucking banging it out, man. They got all these
last year?
hot games. Yeah, yeah.
Remember last year when the Nintendo Switch came out?
And it just like you're walking downstairs. I think all four of us were just like just dejected, like the most momentum-killing thing, like showing I've ever seen.
We were
like,
still in earshot of all the like Nintendo employees, so we weren't talking about it yet. But it was a lot of like glances of like, "Fuck, that sucked."
Like, what did we just walk out of?
Like, here's the thing. Like, if any of us were like big Smash Brothers fans, I'm sure like we would have had like maybe a slightly more positive experience with that because hey, we would be playing a game from a franchise that we really liked. But none of us are that.
But even in that case, like, yes, you're right. But also, like, that was kind of the game.
Yeah.
Everything else was kind of available elsewhere in different formats. So, like, you're used to Nintendo having stuff. Like, we went last year and then left and then heard, oh, by the way, that Metroid game for 3DS was totally there. I was like, wait, what? Like, and it always seems like they have a lot of stuff. And this was...
Thin.
We had booked an hour, and I think it was like 17 minutes after when we were like, all right,
Yeah.
cool.
We played a couple more like courtesy games of Overcooked than we probably needed to.
Like, all right.
We play a little more
Okay.
Pokemon than maybe we would have.
Yeah.
Large spread. They have a big footprint with a lot of kiosks.
Yeah,
They always
totally.
do,
There's a
yeah.
lot of Smash Brothers, a lot of Fortnite and stuff like that, and whatever. I mean, hey, Fortnite, pretty popular. Smash Brothers, people seem to like it.
Yeah.
Like, I bet as more people get into the show and see that stuff, like, they're going to want to see that stuff, and they'll have an easier time seeing it. But just from a, hey, what's the Switch going to have in the next year plus? I'm like, I don't know. Nothing, apparently.
Probably a lot of third-party games
Yeah.
A paid online service.
A paid online service that we
they-
know nothing more about.
that they
still.
weirdly did not discuss at all during their Nintendo Direct at E3.
Just bizarre, man. I can't stop thinking about that press con. That has been my day, is walking around going, fucking wow, man, really? Like, it's bizarre. I mean, whatever. Hey, they made some fucking choices. Sony made some choices. Choices got made this E3.
They sure did.
Phew, man.
Washington Post wrote an article about Waluigi.
Yeah.
Everybody's making choices.
Democracy dies in darkness.
That's just.
He was humiliated.
That's what they said. Yeah.
He's
I mean, he was.
He's
He
garbage.
was.
He was.
Waluigi's garbage. Like just a dumpster in cartoon video game character form.
Not really.
They announced a new Mario Party.
And it is not here.
mercifully, it is not here.
But you're down about the Waluigi thing, but Mario Party's here, so we're not here. It's coming.
Well, I mean, it's
It's a
not
Nintendo Switch.
not a real Mario. It's not a numbered Mario.
Yeah.
Super Mario
It's super,
Party.
which
What
It's
is that?
super.
That's not.
that's better than.
But that is better. That is
Just
better.
think of the number.
Have you played Mario Brothers?
Yeah, think
I
of
have,
think
yeah.
of the number of Mario
Mario
Brothers.
Yes.
Which one's better?
You know, I like Mario Brothers.
It's a
quite
good game.
bit.
It's a good game, but which game's better?
I would say Super Mario Brothers is a better game.
There you go.
They're calling it Super because they're starting a new, whatever the 10 equivalent of a trilogy is.
Yeah.
The gritty reboot.
Yeah, so it's going to be
Yeah.
10 more Mario Party games.
And it'll be called The Mario Party
Yeah.
Great.
after that.
Mario Party Origins.
Parentheses 2018.
Mario Party
Right.
64.
Mario Party Forever.
Okay, sure. Why not?
Yeah.
Mario's Party.
That looked like a pretty good Mario Party.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, they got rid of the
Yeah, it
thing where
did.
you're all in the, yeah, thank you, Ben.
It did.
They got rid of the thing where you're all in the same little cart. Like, it's real deal Mario Party again.
Like the mini games looked okay.
There's a baseball thing.
Real deal Mario Party is
Yeah.
not a good thing, Dan.
Yes, it is.
It is.
You played
fun.
every
I've
one of those
played
games.
every one of those
Yes,
games.
yeah, for extended periods of time.
You want me to rank them?
Yes.
Okay.
All 10.
They're all
Crossover.
tied.
For 10th
I
place.
can't pick
number one?
because they're
all just
all
so good.
shit.
Yeah, wait. If they're
so
all tied,
good.
they're all technically number one.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what?
true.
You know what? There's
Wow.
one
He's
that
more
rises-
positive than I
There's
expected.
one that rises slightly above.
Two.
It's the one with the Cowboy Mario on the
Two.
cover
Two.
because I like the Cowboy Mario on the cover.
Yeah.
Two is
Then
one
you
of the
have
best.
to put it in and play it, and it's still bad. But at least you can look at that and go, ha, fucking Cowboy.
Yeah.
Jason,
else?
you got around. You saw some Ori, right?
Yeah. I saw some Ori right away in the morning. That was good. That was a nice.
That game's still pretty?
Yeah, the game is really pretty. I keep thinking back to it and just how cute he is. So they've got a new lighting engine. You know, everything's far prettier now. But they've also added like a new physics engine, and it's very subtle. But it's like everything that you touch, everything that you land on, has a little bit of bob to it, and it's super immersive in that respect.
Cool.
And he's got new abilities where you can like swim through sand and shit like that. So they're that ties into like the Metroidvania, which they're gonna double down on, I think, in this new one. So like gated off areas, you have to get new abilities to traverse, to stuff. But he's like Echo the fucking Dolphin when he's like flying up through the air and then coming back down and swirling through. It's a thing to behold for real. But aside from that, they're adding new like weapons, as well. You had your kind of short range
Spirit blast.
that
kind of
thing before, but now you've got like a straight up sword with like you can launch them, do air combos and stuff, and then switch to like a big hammer type weapon. It's rad. Like they're really making changes. Aesthetically, it's still very much Ori, and that's a great thing. But yeah, they're adding a shit ton of gameplay to it as well.
Cool.
Side quests as well. Like they're adding a bunch of NPCs, and I'm super excited for it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good.
They said when that comes out.
Next year, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a
that sounds right.
2019 game.
Cool. Vinny,
Yeah,
you went and saw Beyond Good and Evil 2.
I did.
What was that?
It's very early.
Did they like put you in front of a computer and say, "Could you draw some stuff for
Yeah.
us?"
I got $2.50.
Nice.
I thought it was
Okay,
good.
so all right, lead producer of Beyond Good and Evil 2, Vinny Caravelle is here.
That's right. I got a credit.
Great.
I'm a lead producer now. I thought lead producer would pay a little more, but
Yeah, well.
tough times.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt only has 50 grand to distribute, and there are a lot of people going to submit.
Which is weird because I
cards,
just
so-
drew a picture of him.
Well,
It was super early. Half the demo started with like a storyboard presentation
Oh, wow.
where they're
Really?
kind of walking you through,
Okay.
which was good because the gameplay was very, very early. So the storyboard presentation actually explained a lot of the setup for the world. And the setup being the two of the biggest takeaways from the setup was the people who settled this solar system
yes.
were irradiated on the way there, and they could not reproduce. So this is a place inhabited by clones, and the workers are like the mixes of like human parts and animal parts. They are
So they're not just like pure clones. Like they're just when they made the clones, they said, "Let's put a hippo in here too."
So they're all basically assigned to like work categories. Like the apes are like ape mixed with people are like miners, and so anybody who's not assigned or to break out of that, it's basically forced labor, and to break out of that, they become pirates, right? And so the other big thing, so with the clones in the universe, remember that the universe is populated by clones.
Yep.
The other thing is you are not playing as any of the main characters we've seen in the Beyond Good and Evil 2 trailers.
Okay.
You are making your own character
Got it.
from an archetype of DNA that is in this clone repository. So say there's like, I'm making this up, but say there are 10 strains of DNA. And you're going to pick one of those to base your character.
And like one of them, does that determine like you could be a hippo man
Yes.
or a
Yes.
okay
They make
shark
a
face?
spore?
What's that? well, you're not customizing parts.
Okay.
So you're basically just saying, hey, from what I gathered.
That's almost like a character class thing or something.
Yeah,
like, hey, do you want
exactly.
to be strong or do you want to be nimble or?
Yeah, I don't know.
right?
They didn't go into are there different attributes for each one, but like in the demo gameplay I saw, one person was basically human, one person was basically the ape human, that we had seen.
Yeah.
But not that character.
Right.
Different characters that look very similar to the characters
So
we've seen.
no customization, like hair stuff or
I
facial
think
stuff or
I think that is the
anything, or-
cosmetic customization. It's
Okay.
Stuff that, like tattoos and hair and clothing. And so what we saw were 2 players, and the short of it is 2 players basically inside a temple running around. You have a weapon you can use to shoot, and then you have kind of a couple of special abilities, and they said that's where you're going to get into your kind of class or your playstyle customization. Do you want a defensive shield, the pomp? Do you want kind of an aggressive move that is like electric shot or something like that?
Yeah.
So you're going to equip different abilities, and that's going to customize your play options. Again, this seems super early.
Yeah.
And then the biggest thing that they were showing, or the thing that impressed me the most, is again, the combat was very early, was they get in 2 vehicles. One's like a little flying motorcycle, and one's a kind of air skiff. And they start touring around the city. And the city looked beautiful. It's kind of the city you've seen in some of the more pre-rendered stuff.
Still looks very like Fifth Element.
Yes.
Okay.
And the reason a lot of stuff has this kind of India vibe is because apparently this wasn't a great creative, I thought, story reason, but when they got to the planet, the continent looked like India. So everything kind of looks like India.
If it's the shape, then yeah, that
Yeah,
it checks out.
right.
Yeah, that's the
how
shape of
countries work.
an area really is what key influencer
So
and what
Yeah,
the things look
100%.
like.
That aside, it's got this
I
kind
guess
of
it's a good thing it doesn't look like Ohio.
it kind of has this aesthetic. And the thing that was cool is they got on their 2 vehicles and they split up and they went to different places. And they got into some dog fights, and the combat looked pretty cool in the air. That was neat. You can get out of you have a jetpack also. So you can
Okay.
get out of your ship anytime you want and go search stuff, temples, go inside, get back in your ship, and you fly around because it's a very vertical space. And then they got in their ship and fucking No Man's Skied out of the planet. And just pulled back, see the planet, point your ship in another direction, go to another planet, and
What continent did that planet?
that is a TBD because they did not get there. That is where the I don't know. Submit some stuff to, and maybe it'll be your creative genius.
All right.
So it seems like they are trying to build out. So there are multiple cities on this planet. So you can go outside the city and go explore the planet to see other cities that are all constructed. This isn't like procedural generation. These are
Okay.
kind of bespoke, crafted places.
Yeah.
And that it will hold the same for stuff on the other cities as well. These are designed levels. It is not a game about, or at least where I could tell, exploring as many things as possible. It is, a crafted narrative. Now, outside of that, kind of no idea really what else is going on. The structure kind of sounded a little more mix of MMO-ish of, okay, so those characters you saw before in all the trailers, you'll be getting quests maybe from those guys
Maybe?
to go do something. Yeah, like not a lot seemed super hammered down, but hey, you might get a quest from Paige or maybe
Cuss monkey.
Jade, the evil young Jade, is hunting the pirates in this universe. And that's about as much as they would say.
It's almost surprising that they use the Beyond Good and Evil name because not a whole lot about this sounds anything like that first game.
Yeah, but that's a lot of games that get sequels years after.
true.
this,
You know what other problem it solves? It makes people stop asking what happened to Beyond Good and Evil
That's a
2.
good point, yeah.
Yeah.
So we didn't. Unfortunately, there wasn't a lot of time for questions because I had a lot of them. So I think as
Was
more
the first one
What?
What?
Well, my first one was, and I didn't get a chance to ask it. So how many people at a time? So what are we talking about? How many? Is it hundreds of people going to be running around, or is it 2 people? And I think as more people take this appointment and they get to ask their questions in it, we will see a lot come out of what this game is because it still seemed very early on.
Or what they intend to make it. You know, that's
What
sounds like there's not a lot, maybe not a lot there.
Yeah, because the one question that we didn't have time to ask, or somebody else asked, was how many planets are there? And they were kind of like, depends how much time we got. So
Okay.
I think it's going to be a lot of work to try and make all that stuff, and they obviously realize that. And we'll see what the scope winds up being, and I think we'll find out more. Hopefully by the end of E3, what is Beyond Good and Evil 2 will coalesce maybe more.
Do you mean the end of E3, like in totality?
Yeah.
Like when we finally get to the last E3, we will finally know what that game is?
By the entropy, by the cold death of E3, we'll finally know.
And it'll be like someone will go to the demo appointment and they will raise their hand and they will ask, is Beyond Good and Evil the new Half-Life 3?
And
that's how the answer will be determined. That's how E3 will end.
somebody in one of those dumb gaming chairs will turn around and say, and then it'll just fade to black.
Yeah.
The convention center just like collapses
They'll
on
start
itself.
to open their mouth and then it'll, that's it. You never get to hear them speak.
Then we'll say, someone always asks that question.
Yeah.
And then resets the whole thing. Anyway, that's what I saw. And then I watched Brad play Hitman.
All right, Brad. Tell
I
me
played
about
Hitman.
Yeah.
I could confirm that it's Hitman. The biggest problem with the demo is they said that there were like 20 plus different methods of assassination. I played the racetrack.
Yeah,
from the
Miami.
trailer. They said there were like 20 or more methods of assassination on that map. They had all but 2 of them disabled.
Oh.
They also had only 1 of the 2 targets active.
Okay.
So
Pretty early.
What's that?
Pretty early then.
Well,
or I mean, at least
coming out in November, so they've got probably a fair amount designed. But like, also the guy guiding the demo was not from the certainly seemed like he was not from the team. He was very much about like ushering me through this very specific route. To
go over here and get the wrench.
And I just wanted.
And you were like, but I need this fire
just
extinguisher.
wanted to murder a guy in a mascot costume and put on the mascot costume.
Yeah.
Which I did. Despite his instructions.
Did you break the demo by doing so?
No.
Okay.
It worked. Didn't see a lot different. Like it was with the small amount of stuff to interact with in that. Oh, in fact, you saw like it was kind of funny. There were like you would go through parts of the racetrack area and down in the pit and stuff, and like you would just run into like in-world barricades that just said like demo boundary. Like not placeholder stuff. Like it looked like it was in-world.
Yeah.
Which was
That
pretty
did
funny.
look like a police barrier.
Yeah.
Happy we're getting more Hitman after everyone assumed it was just dead.
Yeah.
Like this soon too.
Yeah, it's great.
Pretty good.
I'm trying to think if there's anything different to talk about.
I mean, it
Like
seemed much
any
more
new
just about-
like environmental stuff? Weapons?
Not
or-
that I saw. The one thing, so the route they had me on was to get a pit crew disguise, go into the pit. So the one target that was in the demo was the race car driver.
Yeah.
And the lady was in the car running a race during what I was doing. Yeah, I want to say he said in this demo they had it so she would never get out of the car. She would constantly keep doing laps, but it sounded like in the final version,
Of
the
course.
race will end, she'll get out, walk around and stuff. But
Yeah, well, I mean, one of the things they showed in that trailer was her standing on stage getting like her trophy,
Yes.
and then the whole stage just fucking blowing up.
So the one thing I can think of that's different is I got into the pit as the pit crew guy and got to some piece of machinery or something, and like it went to a first-person view, and there were different ways I could carry out the assassination based on what I had on me, like different, like just engine and stuff laid out in front of me, and I was able to just sort of pan across to different opportunities, if that makes sense. And I had the sticky bomb, so I could do the one in the middle, which needed a sticky bomb, and I just did it. And you could trigger it whenever you wanted, so like they had me go up in the stands and wait for her to come around the turn, and pop it just at the right time to make it dramatic. It was fine. It was cool. It ended right there. Like it didn't. It was very like scripted.
Sure. Yeah.
Definitely plays like Hitman though.
It seems like that would be a hard game to
Yeah.
demo.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
here's a limited version of this game when the whole point of it is like here's this whole thing.
And especially if like they don't feel like enough people played the first one. Like it's a complicated game. You need people who aren't familiar with it to get it. And see the cool stuff in a setting like that.
They weren't really confirming the release. Like it's what's on the disc.
Like I was asking questions about what's on the disc and stuff, and he did not have answers, so I don't think that was the right setting for that stuff.
They confirmed, right, that it's all on one thing.
We assume
It's
so,
certainly not
yeah.
episodic.
I mean, I
right?
get the impression there may be like DLC down the road, but
Right,
it's not going
right.
to be like the episodic rollout that the
You know
first
what?
one was.
I think we'll have an opportunity to ask those questions.
Perhaps.
My guess is
Soon.
everything on the disc, but they keep doing the elusive targets and things like
Yeah,
that.
Yeah, I mean,
Community stuff. And,
the whole thing
Yeah.
is designed around the live service aspect, so I think they're still very much doing that.
Right. That would make sense. Alex, what did you get up to? You were with us at Nintendo.
I was.
Anything else to report?
Yeah, I got to see the new Remedy game, Control.
Yeah.
I heard good things about that.
oh, PsyOps?
Yeah, I mean, more or less. Yeah, there's definitely like a little bit of like Quantum Break DNA in that game, but it is a totally different premise, situation, no tie-in to that game whatsoever.
Okay.
So you play as this woman who has these sort of ill-defined but cool-looking various, psychic powers, and you are sort of thrust into the role of the director of this Bureau of Control, which is essentially the supernatural FBI.
Okay. All right.
And like it is also, it doubles as a place where I guess the government sort of like Indiana Jones stores all the fucking haunted objects they have collected over the years. So there's like a whole panopticon full of crazy objects that sort of exist within this building as well. And anyway, shit goes fucking wrong. There's this thing called the Hiss that is this kind of ethereal menace that takes over everyone that works in the building. So there are just like floating people around, and then when they get on the ground, they start trying to murder you.
I see why that would happen.
And because you're the director, you have access to the weird pulse gun. Only the director can use the pulse gun, apparently.
What is it?
They give it to
It
you on the
just shoots
first day.
like I don't know,
Pulses?
fucking mind bullets or something. But yeah, like the gun that breathes from the trailer, that is the gun.
Oh, right, yeah.
And so you get other abilities, like you can sort of just levitate around the place. You can just pull objects from around the environment with your mind and just throw shit at people and use it as shields and whatnot.
I had that feel because I feel like that is also a tough thing to do. Even PsyOps had a little trouble with telekinesis.
I can't
Moving
say,
stuff in and out.
Yeah, I can't say how it felt because I didn't play it. It was
Okay.
Remedy playing it.
How
But
did it look like it felt?
it was very snappy. Like the dude was just sort of like moving his reticle over in a direction, and then just like a bunch of junk would start flying at it. So it seems like it's pretty forgiving.
Okay.
But so the kind of interesting thing to me is that so the whole game, it seems like, takes place in this building, which is the government. They call it like the oldest house or something, and the game is designed a little bit at like a Metroidvania. Like it is. There are places you can't go until you have certain abilities.
Yeah.
The place seems like it kind of reconfigures itself in various ways. Like there are rooms you'll go into, and until you have a certain ability or a certain something, you'll just put like you can't go in there. But like once you have it, you pull this lever, and suddenly the hallway changes to something else in front of you.
So do you get the sense most or all of the game takes place in that building?
Yeah, but I think that there's a lot of room to do wild shit with that on account of all the just weird supernatural nonsense that's happening everywhere. Like, I got a very Inception-like vibe from some of it. Like, there's I don't know, I think it's the ghost of the dead former director or something, like talking to the woman, being like, you have to treat it with dream logic, like nothing makes sense. Like, you have to fucking make sense of nonsense, whatever, and other than that, it's an action game. Like, it is a Remedy action game. It is just wild shit happening around that. But yeah, it seems like they were getting way more like psychedelic weird with this one versus like whatever Quantum Break was supposed to be.
A TV show.
Yeah.
All right. Ben,
Yeah.
what's up?
Not much. I ate a pizza really fast.
Oh, cool.
And now
Think
it's
of
like,
it.
now I got a tummy ache.
I got one.
Oh.
The day we got here,
It's
it
okay.
did not move me.
Mine's got chorizo on it.
Yeah.
One
Or it
across the
had.
street?
I got this one.
You might have had the same one.
Yeah.
It's a little spicy, but
I got
not
the
bad.
one without the. There's some kind of chili on it. I got it
Yeah.
without that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I got the chili.
Yeah.
I also saw a bunch of video games.
Okay, let's hear about those. I guess.
Highlights: Yakuza Kiwami 2.
Mm-hmm. Did you play any Virtua Fighter 2?
No, we played.
I made him play Virtua on.
Jason made me play Virtuon, and I played the PP game.
Yep.
Yep.
Did you then go get drunk so you could play it again?
No, but he told
lost
me
the first
I
time.
could have. Oh yeah,
I had to go back and win.
Is Virtua Fighter 2 in Kiwami 2?
it is.
All of it?
Yeah.
I mean, 5 was in
Virtua Fighter
6.
2.1.
Really?
Yeah.
All of 5?
All of 5 was in 6.
So basically, it's just Yakuza 2 in the Yakuza 6 engine. They rebuilt it, or they just made the game again from the ground up, all the cutscenes and stuff. looked really good. He showed us like a YouTube video of what it looked like before, and yeah, that game looks a lot better, obviously. So that was cool. I played some Valkyria Chronicles 4. They went back to the style of 1. I'd only played 1, but I guess they kind of diverged from the track a little bit on that game. But yeah, it's back, same kind of thing. You have action points and action meter. You can move your unit so far.
Fully back on track. Like, yeah, I had a hard time kind of discerning that it was actually 4.
Yeah,
It's very much
a
return to form.
Yeah, and that was cool. And then I checked out the Annapurna games. I played the first 20 minutes of Donut County, which is a delight. That game is just incredible. I can tell it's going to be kind of like a Night in the Woods experience where I was talking to Ben Esposito about it. He's like, yeah, you could probably beat this in a day. So just a game that I could put on, sit on the couch, play, have a really good time with. The writing was really nice. The music was really good.
What kind of game is it? Is it just like an adventure narrative?
I call it reverse Katamari because it's just about sucking objects into holes as opposed to wrapping them up.
Yeah, you move a little hole around the ground, and as objects fall in the hole, it gets bigger and bigger.
Okay.
And then they introduce some puzzle elements as you go. Like if you suck up a campfire, smoke will come out, and then you can use that smoke to like bring a hot air balloon down and stuff like that. They kind of mess with the things you can bring, or like you'll suck up water, and then a bird will drink the water and get full and do other things.
Do they actually have a story and like a narrative?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
It's built around the narrative.
There's a mischievous raccoon who maybe is the responsible one for all the holes.
Fucks up the whole town. And
Yeah.
like the game starts with you like underground, and everyone's standing around in a circle looking at the raccoon, and he's just like, what? And so you kind of figure out what happens as he tells the story. I played Outer Wilds, which I didn't know anything about going in, but that game is really cool. It's a game about space exploration. You're in a little galaxy, and there's 8 planets to go to, but it resets every 20 minutes. And what happens as you explore, whenever you find a point of interest, it kind of appears on this little, in movies when they have like the newspaper clippings with all the lines going.
Yeah.
It's sort of one of those that kind of map together as you find pieces of the world. You're basically trying to figure out why everything's resetting every 20 minutes. You're the only one who is caught in this loop.
Okay.
Does that mean like people's memories and everything?
Yeah,
Huh.
and like, the first time you go, you walk up and you get launch codes for your spaceship, you go back down, you launch them, but then when you start it the second time, you know the launch codes.
Okay.
And when you go in to do the launch codes, your co-pilot's like, how do you know the launch codes?
Oh, that's cool.
And so the game kind of changes as you change it.
Yeah, I played a little bit of that at the Microsoft showcase, and we didn't have much time, and I never got those launch codes, so I wasn't able to. How was the space flight stuff?
It was hard.
Yeah.
They compared it kind of to Kerbal, where you have to kind of match trajectories, and there is an autopilot system if you don't want to fuss around with that, but the guy was telling me, it's as easy or hard as you want it to be. And then there's like a jetpack you have that acts very similarly. But the cool thing is like different planets have different gravity, so your jetpack will be different effectiveness.
Can you beat the game?
Yeah, because so every I went to 3 different planets, and on the second planet I found this lab, and as I went in through the lab, it told me about how to unlock something on another planet, and then that all appeared on my little board, my mission board,
Which you keep.
as you go.
Okay.
So knowing that, you could just go to the other planet next
straight
time
to the
around
lab,
and
Yep.
do your thing.
I talked to one of the developers real quick the other day, and I think he said you can kind of just explore and do the quests however you want.
Yeah, he said it was very open. You can go to any of the worlds in any order. Really, it's just kind of it was like an old adventure game where it's just kind of poke and prod at stuff until you find something.
Outer Wilds?
Outer Wilds. It's coming out this year.
Cool. Sounds neat.
Yeah.
What is it on? Everything?
PC and Xbox. And then the last thing I saw was Wadham for like 15 minutes while Takedo Takahashi just viciously owned me for being bad at his game, which is like not a game that you can be good at because it's kind of a sandboxy.
Yeah.
Like, you hold hands with rocks and.
Well, you should have held hands better.
Right. The rocks have hands?
Yeah, it's.
I thought you were hardcore.
It's a game where you're a lonely mayor and you flip around rocks and then you take off your hat and there's a party bomb and then the party bomb exploded and everyone got really happy, but then they all said, oh, it's time to go, and they got sad and started crying. But when they were crying, it was making plants grow, and then the plants grew into new friends, and then you held the hands with the new friends, and then you could party bomb the flower, but then the original rock got jealous of the party bomb flower, and then that's when I had to leave.
Is that game weird?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, you ever see Nobi Nobi Boy? Or,
Yeah.
Yeah. It gives
That's a
me
weird
heavy
game.
vibes.
Okay.
That sounds real good.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to playing it in full.
Cool. I went and saw Battlefield 5.
How was it?
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah. What,
Yeah.
Did they show you the campaign stuff? The stories?
No. They had a multiplayer setup. And so it was their, one of the new modes they're talking about, like, is the attacking team will kind of jump out of a plane, more or less.
Under.
Yeah, no, and
You don't say.
there's a defending team that's trying to stop you. Like they showed us an abbreviated version of the mode, so it was like kind of like there's day one where you have kind of one set of objectives to kind of push the line as far as you can, and then depending on how well you do there, day two you might spawn further ahead on the kind of more traditional like push the control point stuff.
Okay. The whole side, not just your squad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your whole team basically.
right.
Yeah. The movement feels really good.
Oh,
It was one of the
good.
things I spent some time talking to some folks from DICE over there, and it feels very smooth. Like it getting shots off and just raw movement feels a lot better than it has. I feel like sometimes Battlefield has felt a little clunky in terms of just like, okay, I gotta go prone, do this, do that. This feels more like hey, just jump through this window. It'll break the glass. It's fine. You don't have to kick it out or do it. It's just like you just go. And a lot of the movement stuff was kind of the biggest thing for me, which was subtle at spots, but like I don't know. It felt a lot easier just to kind of just pop out and take shots and do that sort of stuff. Like the weapons felt good.
Did you get to see any of the new squad mechanics? Spawning on squad, previewing where you're
Oh
gonna
yeah, I
spawn?
died. Yeah,
You died?
yeah,
Oh, weird.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Thought you were hardcore too.
no.
So did you get to see like the preview behind the back?
Yes. It's effective.
Okay.
So like you can toggle. It's a 4-person squad. At least it was in this demo. I assume that's the size. That's what it has been, right? Was it maybe 5?
It might have been 5.
Anyway. So you can cycle through your teammates, your teammates who are alive, and see which one you want to spawn on. If they are in combat, there'll be a red banner at the top that says you cannot spawn right now because they are in combat. And as soon as they get out, you can hit A, and like basically it's a follow cam. And as soon as you hit A, the follow cam kind of stops,
And that's you?
and then they keep moving off, and then a gun pops up like a second later.
That's neat.
And then you're there moving.
That's neat.
And it's that's really effective. Like you get a little bit more tactical information about like what you're about to jump into,
Yeah.
which was useful.
How about the everybody can heal everybody else? Well, not everybody.
Yeah.
You can heal your squad.
Right. Yes. So that's a revive thing. You just if someone goes down, they can hit a trigger to call for a medic. But any class can walk up and pick a person up. But it's very much a hold down X. Hey, come on.
Okay.
Unless you're the medic, and then you've got the shot, and you just go get the fuck up, dumbass.
Okay.
And so the medic revives faster, basically.
So is it like a big change for that game to be able to get your other squad mates up, or does it take so long that you're going to be killed by the person that killed
I
the
got
first
killed
guy?
a couple of times.
Trying to get somebody up?
Yeah.
Okay.
But there were also cases where, like, one guy on my squad was trying to revive another, and so I covered them while it went down.
That's neat. I feel like that could be a big change.
Yeah, because like, who revives anyone in Battlefield? Because whatever. I'm not playing with people I know. I don't care. But like, if anyone can revive anyone, then I feel like that's the different incentive. Like, I don't have to play a medic to bring someone back.
Right.
So I can always help out my squad. It's not like,
Yes.
oh, I need to play the medic because no one else is. Because who wants to do that?
I think that's really neat. I feel like for the way I like playing that game, which is, with people I know that are going to play together and try at least to stay together, that's very helpful for survivability, especially since I'm not very good.
Yeah, and they clarified some of the language. I know, like, because I asked about it because they had said, no loot boxes or whatever, but then they had a deluxe version of the game, and the language there was like, you'll get 20 airlifts.
So what's that?
It's just some cosmetic stuff. It's not like, hey, these are the equivalent of loot boxes or whatever. It was just like, with the deluxe edition, you will get some quantity of cosmetic things that are with the deluxe version, and that's it.
So is it class progression and unlock new weapons as you play your class?
I don't actually know about that
Okay.
part of it because they just had us jump into a demo and jump out,
Okay.
and so we weren't really doing any
Like
loadout
back-end
building
stuff?
or any of that other stuff. So I'm not quite sure how the progression will work.
Okay.
I thought it looked great. They were showing it on Xbox One. Like it was a really nice looking game, and it felt good. Like I'm not, like I was not the person saying like, finally some more World War II games. But I think they've found a way to, like, it doesn't feel stodgy and stuffy and like old the way a World War II game does in terms of just like how the combat works. This felt more like, hey, you're gonna have a little rocket launcher. Hey, shoot the tank.
Okay.
Take on this fucking tank. Fuck it.
Did you get in a vehicle?
I did. It went poorly.
Okay.
I blew up a vehicle, which went poorly for someone else.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
Did you get in a plane?
I did not.
Okay.
You had to be fast to grab the plane spawns at the beginning, and we never got any more.
Ooh, did you see? Okay, big question.
All right.
Do you get in the plane and take it off from the runway, or do you like warp into the plane at the spawn?
I think you warp into the plane at the spawn. That's my guess. I don't actually know, but I spawned as a tank, and it was very much kind of on the road already.
Well, he could have spawned in the tank.
No, there was no one else in the tank before. It was I was the one taking the tank from the main base and going forward. So I don't actually
harder.
Because that's fun. I like when you run to the vehicle and you see other people running towards the vehicle.
no, this is like when you're on the
Yeah, the
map
mini
menu,
map,
you
yeah.
pick whether you want.
Yeah.
How else
I
are
just
your
wanna
teammates
play
going to balance on the wings before you take off?
True.
Don't
True.
get to.
Yeah,
just the run.
yeah, that's a change I wish they'd kind of get back to. I mean, I'm sure there are some vehicles that are just on the map.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing is, like, as you play as a squad, if you're doing well as a squad, you'll earn like I believe they're called squad requisition points. And so you'll be able to call in vehicles as a squad.
Oh.
It'll be like, here's a vehicle that can hold all of us because we're doing well out here.
Oh, that's neat.
Which seemed like a cool idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked really nice.
Cool.
Yeah, I was into it. Anyone see anything else they want to talk about before we wrap it up here? We got
Oh,
guests coming.
yeah, real quick. Abby and I went and saw the Xbox Adaptive controller
yeah,
that they
cool.
released. I finally got hands-on with that thing. It's very well manufactured, but they're doing some really, really smart stuff with it. And they pointed out that it works in conjunction with the co-host functionality. So you're kind of scratching your head too. I didn't know much about this.
Oh, is this like you can have two controllers hooked up to the same port?
Exactly. It's,
Yeah.
it's like two controllers, and so for example, Vinny,
Yeah.
if your son isn't that great at 3D control or something like that, you can take over the sticks and you can just tell them, okay, just hit this button for
gotcha.
fire, that one for
It's like
jump.
driver's
They'll
ed
take
car?
care of that. Exactly.
Okay.
So it works, in conjunction with that. Everything's completely remappable. The thing's only $100, which is like dirt cheap as far as adaptive
Is
stuff.
that just the box, and then all the additional plug-in buttons are separate?
Yeah, so all the plug-in buttons on the back, or the ports as it were, are like 3.5 millimeter, which is like a standardized kind of port for adaptive buttons like this.
Yeah.
There's also two USB ports on the side, to simulate both left stick, right stick, so you plug in like a flight stick, or they were actually using like a Wii nunchuck control.
Oh, okay.
As well. So they're completely open with third-party applications. They don't seem to be concerned with making first-party buttons or anything like that, or flight sticks or anything like that. So this seems like a really good. This is my heart swelled like 3 times while I was in there, just thinking about how many people this is going to help. I think.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I think it's badass, and it, like I said, it's really, really cheap for what it is.
Yeah.
So.
And probably a really good dive kick controller.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. Cool. All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up. Thanks, everybody, for coming by.
Thank you.
Yeah. We got some guests coming through. So stay tuned, and we'll be back in a bit.